A very good morning to everybody. Happy to have you over here and welcome to the conversation on dealing with stress. So we'll have a conversation for next 30 minutes and I'll basically share with you my experience and my way of how and what are the challenges and first, let me wish all of you a good health. I hope work from home is what most of us are following. And we need to be in good mental and physical health to deal with this challenge. So with that, let me start with what are we going to look forward for. So the first and the foremost, what we are going to invest time is little on what is this stress and is there something really called as stress, and then how do we go about dealing with this whole game plan of stress is what we will invest time in. Yes, Amit? Hi, Amit. So that's something what we are going to invest time in understanding. So before I start, let me quickly share with you one story. And the reason for sharing this story is because it will help us to get going into understanding of how to go about this entire stress. So it's like this, and it's a story, so you can take it with a pinch of salt. There is a small village, and in this small village, everybody is staying very happily together, and they are more or less very happy. And suddenly, what happens is famine hits them, drought hits them. Like we all got hit in the month of March with this pandemic. ये गांव को भी ड्रॉट हो जाता है, मतलब बारिश नहीं होता है. So you know all that what happens when there is no rain and challenge. So what happens is there is no vegetation. The cattle are starving. So there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of challenge that happens, and they decide we have to do something about it. So what would everybody do? People would think about digging a well, putting a canal, or things like that. That's what they would predominantly get into. But it would take a lot of time. It would definitely it would take a lot of time. So they get basically hit by this, and they decide, okay, what we need to do. So the most common thing what most would do is in such a situation is to pray. That's what all of us are doing also, that we need to pray because we are hit by something which is so unknown. It is so uncertain that it's very important we need to know what to do. So prayers is something which we all of us do. Even when probably some of our application which we are trying to release, it doesn't happen, then what we do is we basically then get into praying. So we say, oh God, please help me, or hey Bhagwan bacha le abhi se. That's what we primarily get into. So they all decide we need to pray, and so all they decide that one Sunday morning like this, we'll all assemble, and what we are going to do is we are going to pray. So yes, everybody assembles in the school ground. So there are the senior members on the dais who are coordinating the prayers, and all the villagers are standing over there in the front, in the ground. When the prayers are about to start, what happens is that the head of the committee, he sees that there is a small girl standing right in front of the row, and she has a big umbrella in the hand. Now what struck him is that we are here to pray for rains, and this is a girl who is standing here to pray for rains with an umbrella. So he's very curious. I mean to say, we all will be curious. So he asks the girl that, why are we here? So she says that we are here because we want to pray for rains. So she tells, yes, you are right. We are here to pray for rains because there are no rains. But I see that you are carrying an umbrella. So you know what does the girl answers? The girl says that we are here to pray for rains, and after we pray for rains, it's going to rain. And when it rains, I don't want to get wet. And that's the reason why I'm carrying an umbrella. So I grew up with stories, and most of my early learnings, or even now, I believe is that stories help to get message across because they are non-intrusive, they are non-encroaching, but they give you the message. So the lesson for me from this story, or for all of us, is that faith is very important in anything. Faced with any challenges, faith is something that, in fact, we have heard the classic thought, which is faith can move mountains. And this is exactly what it means, that faith can move mountains. We need to have faith. Now, at this point, if anybody wants to share anything, want to stop and ask, I'm more than happy. Please welcome. The idea of this story I will share. But any questions on the story or anything you want to add, please be my guest. You can even tap in the chat box if you need to type, if anything. That's okay. Okay. If everybody is fine and if the story is settled, the idea of sharing this story was very simple. There is no such thing called as stress. It is the lack of faith. My experience of my, you can say, personal and professional journey of close to last 35 years is that there is no such thing as stress. It is the lack of faith. It is the lack of faith that we term as stress. So that's the most important element. That is my first sharing of the start of this session, is that stress matlab we lack faith. And when we lack faith, we basically start spinning a lot of negative things. So it could be negative thoughts, negative emotions, negative actions. That's all that happens. So my first tip to everyone, and my first tip of my learning of the journey, it's not like I was born from my mother's womb with having a tremendous faith and no negative. No, I too had negative, I too had lack of faith, but over the period of time, I realized the power of faith and believing in it. So my first learning, of my first sharing with this group, is that faith can move mountains. Faith can keep stress at bay for anyone. So anyone in our circumference, it could be our family, it could be our friends, it could be our team members, it could be our organization stakeholders. We need to install faith. We need to really drive this element called as faith. And that faith keeps the negative emotions at bay. That faith can keep lot of energy, which is very important for dealing with what we call as stress. As I defined, stress is the lack of faith, and stress is generated by negative emotions, is what is the definition. Okay. Now, that's my first learning or first sharing, is that we all need to build a lot of faith. And how does that happen? It happens by sharing, by talking, by repeating. So it doesn't happen overnight. It's not we don't need a magic wand for it. If you need to have faith, you have to keep telling that I have faith. So like, for example, this is a Sunday morning. We all have something for relaxation. Still, some of you have turned up for this talk of the sharing. Why? Because there is some faith. We will take something out of it. And that faith is what is called, we do as synergy. So that is a collaborative faith. That is a collaborative positive that we are doing, which will keep all the negative. So that's my first learning or the first sharing. Now, let me share some of the things in the last lockdown. This is happening. Now, this is almost like we are in the 85th day of lockdown. how did I keep myself, I call it as keeping sane in insane times. That is my favorite statement nowadays. Keeping sane in insane times. So how did I manage to keep sane in these insane times? Or how did I keep something called as stress at bay? So I will share. So that is my second point. The first thing that I did when I realized that we are going to work from home, and this work from home definitely I had forecasted is not going to be like 10 or 15 days, because we had the previous data of various places, and as it was announced, I was sure that we are going to be there for at least 20 to 25 days at home, which means that this whole paradigm shift of going to work at a regular schedule, meeting our friends, meeting our team members was not going to be there. But there was a sudden, you can say, opening of freedom, which means that you can log in anytime, you can log out anytime, you can dress the way you want. I decided day one that come what may, I am going to follow a calendar. I am going to follow a diary. That means that I am going to follow a schedule. Because I am going to be work from home, I am not going to be like get up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, log in at 10:30, 11 o'clock. No change in it. I am not going to be slave to this uncertainty and allow it to take control of my mind. So I had to first install faith in myself that this is something very crucial and this is going to be there for some long time. And the first thing which I decided is, let me have a diary. I am going to get up at fixed time and I am going to have a schedule what I am going to do. And that's my something second which I want to share with all of you. For last many years, I had a schedule, no doubt about it. But when we are at a workplace, we are automatically dominated or influenced by the environment schedule. We log in at a fixed time, we swipe in at a fixed time, we have lunch time which is scheduled because the cafeteria will be at a fixed time. So it is highly controlled environment which keeps us follow the schedule. But incidentally in this work from home, we would have the freedom. And so my second learning or second sharing to deal with this uncertainty is that come what may, we don't know now still how many more days we are going to work from home. Have a diary. No excuses about that diary. If I need that I am going to get up at 6 o'clock, I need to follow it at least 6 days a week. I need to follow it 24 days in a month. I need to follow it. And that's something the brain needs to be programmed with, because uncertainty is something that triggers negative, and negative triggers what is called as the stress. So my second thing is that I follow that diary. Okay. So my second most powerful thing is that I am going to have my day start at fixed time, my breakfast at fixed time. My calls will be scheduled at a fixed time. So they're all scheduled. It is there is no change in it because I am at home that okay, chalta hai types. No. So that's my second thing for everyone, that it has helped me and it has helped to whomever I have shared it, my colleagues, my team members in my organization. It has helped, and most important, as I said, keeping sane in these insane times, it has really helped me a lot. Of course, I have been following it much earlier also, but during this time, there was all the more chances of falling off it. The third thing which I would like to share is that giving time for yourself, which means that your me time, and that has to be the first thing in the morning, minimum first thing in the morning. So I am personally a fitness coach. I run marathon. I coach people to run marathons. So I am a fitness freak. But in this crisis, when there is nothing happening, there are no events happening, what are you going to prepare for? You can't go out on the road. So typically I'm an outdoor person because I go for a run every day morning. When the lockdown was there, you were in the four walls. I made it a point that after I wake up, I'm going to spend 45 minutes in exercise. No excuses. 6 days a week, there is going to be exercise. Every day there is going to be something. Even if it could be as simple as taking a walk in the house. As simple as doing some basic stretches. As simple as doing some advanced exercises if possible. But for those who is not possible, that's fine. But 6 days a week, no excuses. Exercise is a must thing. And let me share with you, in my journey of last 32 years in this IT industry, I think what has helped me survive the ups and downs and various crises plus the stress is fitness. And I give the highest preference to fitness because a healthy mind rests in a healthy body. A mentally sane person will be physically fit. It is a proven theory. So my third thing was exercise. That is something, no compromise. Even today morning, I did 22.5 kilometers of a run. So that's my Sunday routine. Minimum 2.5 hours of run. Now that unlock has happened and we can go on the roads, but till almost 15 days back, we were at home and I used to do exercise at home. Various type of exercises at home. 1 hour a day, sometimes after work, half an hour of walk inside the house, or stretching, or yoga, or meditation. I think I recommend the third thing to everyone is that give time for yourself. Fitness is not optional. Fitness should become part of your 24 hours. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be 60 minutes, whatever, that depends to you. But my recommendation is that please spend time for yourself, and that fitness creates a healthy body, and that healthy body is something that will keep mentally sane. So that's my third. So I'll take a small pause here, just that hope we are in sync, hope we are with me. If you want any query, you can just type it in the chat box. If I am fast, please suggest me to go slow. If I am slow, you can suggest to go fast. I'll take a one small pause here if there is anything in the chat box. Shall I move ahead then if there is no questions? Okay. Mental, yes. So I think Parul has mentioned mental fitness. Yes, surely I will come to that. Soon I will come to that. So the third thing which I want to bring it to the point upfront, which I mentioned, is fitness. If we are physically fit, we are going to be mentally fit. No doubt about it. Because you ask any athlete, it could be a runner, it could be a swimmer, it could be a cyclist, it could be somebody who plays tennis, badminton, cricket. That physical thing builds a lot of good hormones. So when you participate in physical activity, lot of good hormones are secreted, and these good hormones are very important for us to be mentally fit. And this is again scientific. This is not philosophy. This is science. Good hormones get secreted for those who participate in some. It could be outdoor physical activity, it could be indoor physical activity. So that was the third one. Now let me move to the fourth thing that I have followed, and that is, so this was fitness. So any one of you more than welcome offline later, write to me any tips on fitness, more than happy, because I have considered it my mission that to make people fitter, and I have my own fitness coaching group called as Laksha. This is a pro bono group. I coach people to become fit, whether it is high sugar, high cholesterol, hypertension, or people who want to run. I help them do that. So I will take a small pause to mention this, but more details offline, because we have a 30-minute slot, and I want to give brief of various things, not just fitness. So with that, I'll move to the fourth thing. So the first one was faith, very important. The second was a diary, that is a calendar. And the third was exercise. Now let me go to the fourth one. What is that keeps me to keep stress at bay, or do not allow the stress to conquer me, or do not allow negative? And that is talking to people who have such like-minded positive thoughts. I have somehow made a network of various people in various circles. So it is not my field of IT, banking, software, HR, or L&D. I have folks who are in medicine field. I have folks who are in the digital arena. I have folks who are into academics, into hotel industry, hospitality, everything. I have created that network, and I make it a point that I talk with them. I make it a point, I talk with them. And what do I talk? I talk of various things. So if I'm talking to a medical practitioner, I try to understand about medicine. What are those aspects which are there? So I understand from them, okay, what does thyroid mean? What does osteoporosis mean? How does it happen? What will happen if I have high thyroid? What will happen if I have osteoporosis? How does osteoporosis will impact women, etc., etc. So that keeps my mind away from my routine. If I'm talking to somebody in the hospitality industry, I was like wondering, okay, during the lockdown, the hotels are closed. So how are we going to recover? When will it take time? What are we doing during this time? So again, I'm trying to channelize my thoughts in talking things which are different, not the routine. So that's something, another area which I try to do. Third, let us say there is somebody in the digital area, digital marketing. So how is social media going to be utilized during this lockdown? Because suddenly everything is closed. Shops are closed, showrooms are closed. How are they going to do their business? So they are going to move to digital marketing. So how are they going to equip, let's say somebody like Jahin Stores or somebody like Shopper Stop? Because the showroom is closed, how the digital environment is going to make impact? How are they advertising? What impact? Are the customers coming to this? So what I do is I keep mentally occupied on different topics, different thoughts. And when I talk to these different people, the most important thing that happens is, because I am a learner, the child within me takes over. I am a learner, so the child within me takes over. Now, because the child in me takes over, there is curiosity. Okay, what is hospitality doing? What is the hotel industry doing? What are the academicians doing? What are the digital marketing doing? What are the medical practitioners doing? So my mind is away from thinking of any negative things. I'm a learner. And any learner cannot be hit by any negative emotions. He will be so focused that he just cannot think anything negative. And when you talk to different